Benevolence, dear mortals. You can call me Whimsical William. Welcome to my channel. It's spooky month. Are you ready? Pumpkins, vampires, witches, monsters, the darkness, the nights. Let's get into it. Alright, so in today's video, I really want to discuss a really cool web series that recently got a physical edition. The one in question is I'm the Grim Reaper. I read this one a few years ago and it's incredible. It's nice and gritty and dark, but it's got a little bit of comedy in it. It's got that nice gloss and matte finish that I'm obsessed with. Viz Media makes this one. It's got some weight to it too. It's pretty heavy. This one's kind of like a manhwa. It's full color. So that's what makes it so heavy. I've learned that all the full color mangas and manhwas are very heavy. Really nice quality paper on the glossier side. Pretty good art. Like, it's nothing to write home about. It's just really clean and bland. But the art works for this story. It works for the characters. The character design is really nice. But I want you to check this one out. This is a newer, I almost called it a manga, but it's not really quite a manga, but we'll call it a graphic novel for the sake of an argument. Let's get into why you should check this out, why I want you to read this. Alright, what makes I'm the Grim Reaper a good read is the fact that it's dark and gritty, but it's not so edgy that it's cringy. Like, it teeters the line of being cringy. I'll give you the premise. The main character, she's dead and she's in hell. And she's trying to figure out why she go to hell. She has no memories. And the devil is like, oh, you're one of my favorites. Like, you're such a sinner. Like, you're going to the bottom of hell. And she's like, what did I do? Like, I don't feel like a bad person. Why can't I go to heaven? And the cool part about this, there's like a lot of mysteries that keep you reading this story. But the first one is wanting to know what she did. Like, as the reader, you kind of want to know what she did, as well as the character wanting to know what she did. And Satan is like, nah, I'm not going to tell you. And then you have more questions. It's like, why isn't he telling her? He's giving her all this information about being dead, about what sins permit to which levels of hell. Like, if you stole an ink pen or a paper clip, you'll be at the top of hell, and hell is almost like purgatory. It's annoying, but it's not torture. Versus the bottom of hell, where you're burning alive and you have crows that are immune to the fire picking at your flesh, and you regenerate so they could pick at your flesh again. That's crazy torture schemes and whatnot. Some people relive the worst moments in their lives over and over and over again. That's their hell. But what's interesting about this character, apparently she's going to one of the worst parts of hell. She doesn't remember anything and she doesn't know why, but she's given the choice. Satan is like, I could torture you at the bottom of hell personally. It'll be a lot of fun. Or you can work for me. She's like, I don't want to work for the devil. I don't have any memories, but I don't think the devil is supposed to be a good person or a good business partner. The devil's like, well, you have a choice. And the alternative is for her to become a Grim Reaper. Now, in this story, Grim Reapers are entities with animated human corpses that are assigned to taking the lives and souls of people who are damned. So if, like, you're a murderer or a rapist, she can pull up with her scythe, kill you in real life, and then snatch your soul and then give it to Satan. And Satan is like, all right, bet you can go to the fourth circle of hell. perfect. And that's basically her job. She's like a delivery person for souls of the wicked. Really cool concept, because usually the Grim Reaper doesn't discriminate. You know, I'm taking every soul and then we figure out where it goes from there. But this cuts out the middleman. She simply is taking souls that belong in hell to hell. And archangels are the ones who take the souls that are belonging to heaven. So in this story, our main character, when she sees someone who is damned to hell, they have a big red X on their chest. That lets her know who is susceptible to being dragged to hell. Now, the X doesn't let you know the severity of the crimes. It would be, you know, someone who is habitually late with returning their DVDs, returning their library books, or it could be someone who committed mass genocide. Still the same red X. She has to figure it out. Sometimes she has to learn about people or just take a chance. No spoilers. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I'm essentially giving you the outline, the bones of the story, if you will. So that's the premise of it. She's basically, and the kicker, there's a few kickers. Even though she's a Grim Reaper, her body is attached to her soul is attached to a body that, if mortally wounded, Satan has to reconstruct. And it's pretty clear on, if you get too messed up, you just can't work for me anymore. So that makes the job a lot more difficult. If she was given more of a celestial form, I think she'd be a lot better at her job. So, not exactly sure why she has to be a Grim Reaper on hard mode, but it is what it is. Another thing for the story, Satan isn't satisfied with sinners who don't commit atrocious sins. He wants the worst of the worst. He wants really bad people. And I don't mean bad like narcissistic, I mean bad like, you know, killers and just the worst type of people you could think of. That's who he wants. I mean, narcissists or whatever, you know, they're not great people, but it's less of a personality trait and more of what have you physically done to earn your spot. You know, it's like a physical thing versus a mental thing, if that makes sense. So when she brings back people that aren't that bad, he's not really that satisfied. And their deal is every 24 hours, she has to bring a soul. So she's on the clock, there's a little bit of pressure. She could walk around and see X's on people. It seems like other people can see her scythe when she wields it. So she has to be discreet and smart about the souls that she takes. It's really interesting. Let me think of anything else in the story that I'm missing. There's a few characters in it that she's basically using to find more characters. And I think she's trying to get herself set up to where she can have a constant flow of sinners without blowing her cover or making things too difficult for herself. There's a lot of really interesting characters in this story. The story is pretty, I wouldn't say bland, but to the point and cut dry. There's not a lot of detail, but the detail that is there, it's good and it works. It's one of those stories where it's like, it's not flashy, it's not over the top, but it just works. And the way that it works, I think a lot of you would be interested in checking out. Very good quality paperback. Like I said, the art's not super detailed, but it is very clean and very nice. Really bright, vibrant colors. Nice saturated colors. It reads left to right instead of right to left, so if you're a fan of reading like a traditional novel or a traditional book or a traditional graphic novel, you'll be happy to know that this reads like that. It doesn't read like your average manga, which is right to left, so you might like that or you might not like that. What else? If your kids don't read this, it's actually kind of dark. The stories that happen between the characters are very dark, very sensitive subjects, and also there's a little bit of foul language in it. Like, it's not horrible or nasty, but it's, you know, a few cuss words here and there. So, you know, if your kid is in Barnes and Noble and they're looking at the book, don't. That's all I got, really. Ooh, voice crack. That's all I got. This is a really good story. I think it's pretty underrated, and I don't want it to stay underrated. So if you see it in your local bookstore or your Barnes and Noble, pick it up, flip through the pages, check it out, buy it. If you already know about it, let me know in the comments down below if you've already read it. And if you've seen it but you weren't sure about it, also let me know that. And if you buy it at some point or read it at some point and you're new to it, let me know that too. It's spooky month, so we're gonna be doing all vampires, some Junji Ito, some dark stuff. Get ready for all that content this month. It's my favorite time of the year. So with all that being said, thank you so much for checking out another video. If you haven't already and you like the content, subscribe. I really appreciate that. I love the comments. I love all the interaction. It makes me feel good. Peace.